Your life is happening right now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, now. Every choice you make, every moment you embrace, shapes the person you are becoming. So, stop waiting, stop hesitating, live with intention, with courage, and with wisdom. Every single day, we are presented with countless opportunities to shape our future, yet it's the unseen missteps that often have the longest shadows. In the spirit of Stoic philosophy, we know that wisdom isn't just about pursuing the right actions, but also about steering clear of the wrong ones. Today, we're going to explore 10 critical mistakes that can keep you from living the enlightened, purposeful life that Stoicism teaches us to aspire towards. If you appreciate diving deep into these transformative insights, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. It helps us continue to bring valuable lessons like these directly to you. Also, make sure to watch through to the end of this video, because each point we discuss builds on the previous one, painting a full picture of how you can avoid these life-altering pitfalls. Let's get started and navigate these waters together, learning how to avoid common mistakes with the guidance of ancient wisdom. Mistake number 1. Ignoring your true worth. So often we walk through life with a silent companion named doubt. It whispers in our ears, questioning if we really deserve the dreams we yearn to reach, the happiness we seek, or even the respect we crave from others. It's a trap, one that not only diminishes our self-esteem, but directly conflicts with the empowering teachings of Stoicism. Stoic philosophy implores us to recognize and assert our inherent value, urging us to embrace the notion that we are deserving of the good that comes our way, contrary to what our doubts might suggest. I remember sitting across from my mentor years ago in a coffee shop that buzzed with the quiet hum of mid-morning chatter. He noticed the way my eyes dodged his when I talked about my ambitions. "Why do you sell yourself short?" he asked. It took me a moment to formulate an answer because, honestly, I hadn't realized I was doing it. But in that question lay a pivotal Stoic lesson. If you don't know your worth, you'll always accept less than you deserve, and often less than you are capable of achieving. Think about it. How many times have you settled for something less than what you truly desired? Maybe you thought it was all you could get, or perhaps you believed that aiming higher was unrealistic. Here's where Stoicism steps in, clearing the fog made by our insecurities. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It's a call to internalize your true worth and to act in accordance with it. This doesn't mean arrogance or entitlement, but recognizing that settling for less is an injustice to the capabilities you inherently possess. Reflect on this for a moment. Every time you set the bar low, you're not only robbing yourself of a potential victory, but also denying the world the chance to witness your full potential. It's about time we break this cycle. Embrace your worth, demand what you deserve, and watch as doors begin to open. Not just because you're knocking louder, but because you've finally chosen to believe in the power of your own knock. Mistake number 2, being ruled by fear. Fear, that old, familiar shadow lurking in every decision, every leap towards something new or unknown. It's a powerful force, one that too often dictates our actions and leads us away from the very experiences that could foster our growth. Stoicism, with its profound wisdom, offers a different path, one where fear is observed, understood, and ultimately mastered. I can still vividly recall standing at the edge of what would be my first major public speaking event. The audience was a blur, the lights a harsh glare on the podium where I was to stand. My heart raced, not with excitement, but with the terror of potential humiliation. What if I fail? What if my voice cracks? What if my mind goes blank? These fears were almost enough to make me turn and flee. But then, a line from Seneca came to me, almost as if whispered in my ear. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. That was the moment of clarity. I realized that the fear was a natural reaction, but also a deceptive guide. It was trying to protect me from a perceived threat, not a real one. Embracing this Stoic insight, I stepped up, spoke out, and, despite the butterflies, found my rhythm and my voice. The fear didn't vanish, but it lost its grip over my actions. I learned that day that facing fear, acknowledging it, yet choosing to move forward in spite of it, transforms potential energy into kinetic, propelling us forward. This isn't just about speaking in public. It's about all those moments when fear whispers that you can't, or you shouldn't, or it's not worth the risk. Whether it's changing careers, ending a toxic relationship, or taking a chance on a new venture, fear often paints a picture of the worst-case scenario. But remember, he who fears death will never do anything worth living for, as Seneca so aptly put it. So, how do we apply this Stoic practice to our everyday lives? It starts with recognizing that fear is but a perception, not a reality. It's about questioning the validity of what fear tells us. By confronting these fears with logic and reason, hallmarks of Stoic thought, we begin to dismantle their power over us. We can then make decisions not out of fear, but out of courage and wisdom. Mistake number 3: constant comparisons. There's a subtle thief among us, one that robs us of our contentment and distorts our sense of self-worth, the habit of constant comparison. It's like walking through life with a mirror held up to everyone else, only to use their reflections to judge our own image. But what we often forget is that these comparisons can never be fair or complete, as we are only seeing a fraction of someone else's story. I recall a time when I found myself scrolling endlessly through social media feeds, eyeing the achievements of my peers with a growing sense of inadequacy. Look how much more successful they are, I'd think, my own accomplishments shrinking in the shadow of others' curated highlights. It was a relentless cycle of measure and despair, until I turned to the teachings of Stoicism for solace. Marcus Aurelius, a beacon of wisdom, reminded me, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. This profound realization shifted my perspective. Why should the success of others be the yardstick by which I measure my own worth? Stoicism teaches us to focus inward, to cultivate our virtues and control our reactions to external circumstances. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you kinder, more disciplined, more forgiving? These are the comparisons that truly matter, the ones that spur personal growth and genuine happiness. Let's break away from this cycle of comparison by fostering a mindset of self-improvement rather than competition. Each of us is on a unique journey, equipped with different strengths and facing different challenges. When we shift our focus from competing with others to surpassing our own previous limitations, life becomes a more rewarding race against ourselves, not against others. Mistake number 4: neglecting your health. In the relentless pursuit of our dreams and duties, it's shockingly easy to let the most critical aspect of our existence slip through the cracks: our health. We often act as if our bodies and minds are inexhaustible resources, pushing them to the brink without a second thought. But this oversight can have dire consequences, not just physically, but on every facet of our lives. I once met a man, a high-flying executive with ambitions that stretched to the sky. His schedule was packed from dawn till dusk, chasing deal after deal, success upon success. Yet one day, amidst a crucial meeting, his body halted to a stop, a severe heart attack that was a harsh wake-up call. Lying in his hospital bed, he shared with me his regret. "I spent so much time accumulating wealth that I forgot the health to enjoy it." His story isn't unique, but it's a potent reminder of a simple yet neglected truth. Without health, nothing else matters. Stoicism teaches us about moderation and self-control, and it's a philosophy that places great emphasis on physical endurance and mental resilience. However, it also stresses the importance of taking care of ourselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about self-care as a duty, not only to ourselves, but to society. He believed that maintaining one's health is essential to perform one's duties. Neglecting your health in the quest for success is like building a house on a shaky foundation. It doesn't matter how beautifully it's designed or how robustly it's structured, it will eventually crumble. Therefore, it's vital to maintain the equilibrium between striving for your goals and keeping your health in check. Eat well, sleep enough, exercise regularly, and don't forget to mentally decompress. Remember, your body and mind are not separate from your aspirations. They are the very vehicles that will carry you there. Mistake number 5. Holding on to past hurts. Carrying the weight of past hurts is like lugging around a backpack filled with stones. It's heavy, it slows us down, and it serves no purpose on our journey forward. We've all been there, clutching onto grievances and wrongs that have been done to us, often feeling justified in our resentment. But what are we truly holding on to? A moment that's long past, and a pain that only poisons our present. I once knew someone who seemed to carry the world on his shoulders. He was a close friend who had been wronged in a business deal many years ago. The betrayal consumed him. It tainted every new relationship and opportunity with suspicion and bitterness. One evening, as we talked under the starlit sky, I reminded him of a powerful Stoic principle shared by Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. I watched the realization dawn on him that his holding on to this grudge didn't punish those who wronged him, but imprisoned him instead. Letting go of grudges doesn't mean forgetting the hurt or excusing those who caused it. Rather, it's about cleansing our hearts of the bitterness that dims our light and dampens our spirit. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, a release from the past's hold, enabling you to move forward with a lighter, freer heart. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about managing them constructively, recognizing that our inner peace is far more valuable than clinging to past grievances. Think about the energy and peace we could reclaim if we chose to let go of old wounds and forgive. Not for the sake of those who have wronged us, but for our well-being. It's not a simple task, nor is it one that we master overnight, but it's a vital step toward reclaiming our happiness and our lives. Mistake number 6. Failing to invest in yourself. In the grand theater of life, we often play many roles: friend, colleague, leader, caregiver. Yet one crucial role we tend to overlook is being the architect of our own development. Investing in yourself is not a luxury. It is an essential practice for anyone who aspires to live not just an ordinary life, but an extraordinary one. Yet so many of us hesitate, bogged down by daily demands, forgetting that to pour into others effectively, we must first fill ourselves. I remember meeting a woman at a conference, a seasoned professional admired by her peers for her skills and dedication. However, in a quieter moment, she confided in me her sense of stagnation, feeling as if the world was speeding by while she stood still. "When was the last time you learned something new, just for yourself?" I asked. Her pause spoke volumes. It had been years since she'd invested in learning new skills or broadening her knowledge. Inspired by Stoic philosophy, particularly by Seneca's reminder that, as long as you live, keep learning how to live, she decided to make a change. She enrolled in a course that reignited her passion for her field and opened new doors for growth and opportunities. Investing in yourself is a broad and powerful endeavor. It goes beyond academic learning. It involves nurturing your mind, body, and spirit. It means stepping out of your comfort zone, challenging your preconceptions, and embracing lifelong learning. Whether it's picking up a new book, exploring a hobby, or taking a course, each act of investment translates into deeper self-respect, self-awareness, and an enriched character. Take a moment to consider, when you neglect your personal growth, you are not just stalling your career or personal aspirations, you are denying yourself the fulfillment of your highest potential. Investing in yourself is also a profound declaration of your worth. It says to the world, and more importantly, to yourself, that you value your life's journey and your capacity to influence it. So, let this be a call to action. Reflect on the areas of your life where you've perhaps allowed complacency to settle in. What could you learn? What skill could you master? How could you grow? The answers to these questions are the keys to not just advancing your career or personal life, but to cultivating a rich inner world. Mistake number 7. Poor company. There is a simple truth about life that many learn too late. The people around you shape you more than you realize. The company you keep influences your thoughts, your habits, and ultimately, your destiny. Stoicism teaches us that we must be vigilant about who we allow into our inner circle, for the energy of those we surround ourselves with will inevitably seep into our own lives. Yet, too often, we cling to relationships that drain us, friendships that keep us stagnant, and social circles that push us away from the person we aspire to be. I remember a close friend from years ago, ambitious, talented, full of potential. But his downfall wasn't his lack of discipline or intelligence. It was the people he surrounded himself with. He spent his days with individuals who mocked ambition, who saw effort as unnecessary, and who lived as though every day was meant for indulgence and nothing else. Slowly, without realizing it, he began to mirror their mindset. His dreams took a back seat. His goals became distant fantasies, and before he knew it, years had passed, and he was still in the same place, wondering why he hadn't moved forward. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." It is not an act of cruelty to distance yourself from those who pull you down. It is an act of self-preservation. If the people around you are not lifting you up, they are holding you back. And the hard truth is, you cannot grow in an environment that constantly keeps you small. Take a moment and ask yourself, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Are they pushing you to be better, to be wiser, to be more disciplined? Or do they encourage distractions, negativity, and complacency? Your environment is one of the biggest predictors of your future. If you spend your time with people who complain, you will find yourself complaining. If you surround yourself with people who settle for mediocrity, you will start to believe that mediocrity is all you should expect. This is not about cutting people off without compassion. It's about making a choice to protect your own growth. Some relationships naturally fade, while others need to be intentionally redefined. The key is recognizing when a connection is doing more harm than good. Stoicism teaches us that external circumstances, including other people, are not fully within our control, but who we choose to engage with, that is entirely up to us. Surround yourself with those who challenge you, who encourage you to think deeply, and who hold you accountable to your highest standards. Seek out people who embody the virtues you want to cultivate: discipline, wisdom, resilience. And when you find these individuals, hold on to them, because they will become the foundation of the life you are trying to build. Mistake number 8. Procrastinating on your dreams. There is a silent thief that robs more people of their dreams than failure ever could: procrastination. It's deceptive because it never tells you no. Instead, it whispers, "Not today." It convinces you that tomorrow is a better time, that you'll start when things are perfect, that one more delay won't make a difference. And then one day, you wake up and realize that years have passed, and those dreams you once felt burning inside you have turned to distant regrets. I once spoke to a man who had spent decades dreaming of writing a book. He would talk about it passionately, mapping out ideas, collecting notes, even telling friends that one day he would finally sit down and make it happen. But he was always waiting for the right moment, for more free time, for some external sign that it was time to begin. One evening, over coffee, he sighed and said, "I wish I had started 10 years ago." And that's when it hit me. He had wasted more time thinking about his dream than it would have taken to actually make it a reality. Procrastination is the enemy of progress. Marcus Aurelius himself warned against delaying action, saying, "You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow." The Stoics understood that time is the one thing we can never get back, and yet it's the very thing so many of us waste the most. We act as if we are guaranteed a later date, as if life will wait for us to be ready. But life moves forward, with or without us. So ask yourself this: what have you been putting off? Is it that book you've been meaning to write? That business idea you've been too afraid to start? The healthy habits you keep telling yourself you'll adopt next week? Whatever it is, recognize that waiting is costing you far more than effort ever will. The perfect moment you're waiting for? It doesn't exist. There will always be excuses, distractions, reasons to delay. But the only way to make progress is to take action, imperfect, messy, uncomfortable action. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll grow, learn, and improve. Every great achievement began as a first, unpolished attempt. Every master was once a beginner. Every success story started with someone who refused to wait any longer. Mistake number 9: pursuing perfection. Perfection is a mirage. It shimmers in the distance, promising greatness. Yet every time you think you're close enough to reach out and grasp it, it moves further away. How many people have wasted years, even lifetimes, chasing something that doesn't exist? They tell themselves they'll start when everything is just right, when every detail is flawless, when there's no risk of failure. And so they wait, and life passes them by. I once knew a musician, incredibly talented, someone who could move people with just a few notes on a guitar. He had dreams of recording his own album, sharing his music with the world. But every time he got close, he'd find something to fix. The lyrics weren't quite perfect. The sound wasn't exactly how he envisioned it. The timing wasn't ideal. Year after year he worked, polished, tweaked, but he never released a single song. His obsession with perfection kept him locked in place, never allowing him to share his gift with the world. Stoicism warns against this trap. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. In other words, stop waiting for the perfect conditions and just start. The Stoics understood that progress matters far more than perfection, because perfection is an illusion, an unattainable standard that will only hold you back. Think about how much you've delayed because of this illusion. Have you ever stopped yourself from trying something new because you weren't sure you'd be good enough? Have you hesitated to put your work out there because you feared criticism? Have you kept refining, reworking, and second-guessing to the point that your ideas never see the light of day? If so, you're not alone. The fear of imperfection keeps countless people from ever stepping forward. But here's the truth: nothing will ever be perfect. No speech will ever be written without flaw. No business will launch without obstacles. No book will ever be free of edits. And yet, the ones who succeed are the ones who begin anyway. They take imperfect action, they make mistakes, they refine as they go. The greatest achievers in history did not wait for perfection. They built, they adjusted, they improved over time. So, stop chasing something that doesn't exist. Instead, chase progress. Do the work, put it out into the world, and let yourself learn through experience. The first version of anything will never be your best, but if you don't start, you'll never get to the version that could be. Mistake number 10. Losing sight of the present. Time is the one thing we can never get back. And yet, how often do we find ourselves lost in thoughts of the past, dwelling on regrets, or anxiously trying to predict a future that hasn't even arrived? We chase goals, plan endlessly, and worry about what's next. So much so that we forget to live in the only place that truly exists, the present moment. I once met a man who had spent his entire life planning for the future. He worked tirelessly, saving money, delaying vacations, postponing passions, telling himself that one day he would finally live the life he wanted. But when that one day arrived, he realized something devastating. He had spent so much time preparing for life that he had forgotten to actually live it. The years had slipped through his fingers, and all that was left were memories of days spent waiting for something better. The Stoics understood this mistake deeply. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, reminds us, "Do not dwell on the past, do not dream of the future, but concentrate the mind on the present moment. The past is unchangeable, the future uncertain. So why do we waste so much energy living anywhere but here? Life isn't something that will happen later, it's happening now." Think about it. How many moments have you rushed through just to get to the next thing? How often have you been so focused on your next goal, your next milestone, your next achievement, that you failed to appreciate what's right in front of you? How many times have you been with loved ones, physically present but mentally elsewhere, caught up in worries or distractions? We convince ourselves that happiness is somewhere in the distance, just beyond the next success, the next relationship, the next accomplishment. But when we get there, the finish line moves. We tell ourselves that we'll slow down once things settle, that we'll enjoy life once we've figured it all out. But life doesn't wait. The present moment is all we are ever truly given. So how do we stop losing sight of it? By practicing awareness. By reminding ourselves daily that this moment is the only one that truly belongs to us. By training our minds, as the Stoics did, to let go of what we cannot control, the past and the future, and instead fully engage with what is happening now. Whether it's the warmth of a sunrise, the laughter of a friend, or even the challenge of a difficult task, this is your life, unfolding in real time. Thank you for being a part of Stoic Journal. If this message resonated with you, don't stop here. Watch the next video on the screen and keep growing on this path of self-mastery. I'll see you there.